And by the way, there's so many scanners out there for QR codes. I have found that Gamify is one of the fastest scanning.
What was the name of the one that you're
Enigma, yes. It starts with an I. It may not have all the bells and whistles that some of the other ones do, but I mean, it is, well, and I do have a new phone, which the camera is really good on, but it scans super fast. In fact, too fast. So like the sheet that had all the QR codes on it, I had to it was scanning the wrong one. I had to hold it just right because it was trying to scan too fast. So good morning. Good morning. Are y'all awake? I'm still waking up, I think. I'm going to leave this up just for a couple more minutes. On the next slide is a few ways that you can connect with me, a little bit about me. My name is Casey Bell. I am here from Dallas, Texas, and very excited to meet and connect with you all. And if you want to connect through social media, all of those little icons there will link to my profile. So if you want to connect, I'd love to connect online. I'm Shake Up Learning on Twitter, and that's also my blog, Shake Up Learning, and my email address. So feel free to email me if you have questions or any other things that you would like to ask. My title, which is a moving target these days, is a digital learning consultant, but I work for a service center in Texas, and we do instructional technology training and workshops for teachers around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I go out to different school districts and work with lots of different sets of teachers. So that is my main job. So I want to start off today, and I know somebody was presenting on Kahoot yesterday because I saw some of the pictures. How many of you have never used Kahoot? Okay, there's still a few, so I'm very excited because I love Kahoot so much, and it's so much fun. So to get us started with our gamification conversation, we are, of course, going to play a game, and I'm going to use this as a pre-assessment tool. So I'm going to find out what you already know about gamification and game-based learning before we get started. So we're going to have a little fun. This one is pretty short, and no way. So we're going to need a number here. So, and I've been really doing that for a while. So if you're new to Kahoot, those of you who are new, you're going to go to kahoot.it. That's the web address you're going to type in. And your game pin is up at the top. And so as everyone enters, their name will appear in the Kahoot. As a teacher, I love the fact that I can kick out people who use inappropriate usernames because it will occasionally happen. I've had some interesting ones by adults, by the way, as well. So, I've also tested sort of the limits of Kahoot, and I don't know if they've technically published a limit number, but I did this presentation at iPadpalooza this summer, and we tapped it out. No more people could enter. So it's somewhere in the 300 or 400 range, I think, at least the last time we checked. So, like I said, this is going to be our pre-assessment. So if you'd like to participate, I would appreciate it so that everyone can kind of see how this works. Sorry. I'm having better luck just staying on my hotspot. But at the end, we'll do a post-assessment, and I have a little prize. So pay attention to the pre-assessment questions. You will see those plus a few extra at the end. I try to make them kind of easy. So I love this tool. This has been one of the easiest tools to turn around in the classroom. I actually don't show anybody how to. I've never shown anyone how to use this. There's no point. I demonstrate it as a tool, and teachers the next day are using it in the classroom, and that to me is huge. So it will walk you through each step to create your questions, and you can add images and some other things in there. Still slow? While we're letting a few more people get in, anyone else want to share how they use Kahoot? Because I noticed a lot of you know about Kahoot. Success.
I'll share. I tried it 3 weeks ago. We were reviewing vocabulary, and it's super quick to set up. It's a game format. And so I did that, and the kids had such a good time. Fifth period would not leave the classroom. The bell had rung, and they were still there trying to answer questions, and I had to shoot them out. And the whole 6th period, they were having class.
Do you go fast? I think and that's generally how most people are using it. And that's how we're going to use it today. So the fastest answer gets more points. And you'll kind of see that in just a second. Yes.
Another thing that's good about it is I teach Math 7 and Algebra, so I had prepped it for Math 7. I made a whole Kahoot for them. It didn't take long, like 5 minutes. But then my Algebra had known about it, and they were begging for it. And I was like, I don't have anything. We were doing slow, and so I just went to the public Kahoots and put in slow, and there was one done for me.
Yeah, there's already
I put it up. Yeah, it was really awesome. So, what do you can search?
And just so you know, those who are using this for the first time, the answer choices are going to be on the screen. You're going to have a color-coded option on your device, your iPad, or your phone, whichever you're using, and that throws everybody off at first. So that's why it's also good kind of the pre-assessment for everybody, because you'll notice when you do it the first time, and then when you do it the next time, how quickly those answers start coming in. So, anybody else still trying to get in? Okay. So, we'll get you in at the end so you can win. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start. 6 questions. Do I need the mic? No. Okay. I'm texting. We talk loud, y'all. So. What is gamification? So the question's up at the top. And so as the teacher, I can see when all of my students have answered, which I know I'm still waiting on a few, because it will also automatically end if everyone has answered. All right, so using game mechanics to solve problems and engage users. That is the definition of gamification. Good job. So you get a scoreboard after each question. So this is our leaderboard. So Linda, where's Linda? All right, Linda's in the lead. Let's see, Diana is not far behind. What is gamification of education? And you can turn this on where it gives game pins throughout the whole thing. So if anybody loses connection, you can try to skip back in. All right, so applying game mechanics to classroom instruction. Very good. Almost everybody got that one. Linda is still in the lead. Question 3. What is game-based learning? It is different. It begins to sound like popcorn once everybody kind of gets in and gets going. GBL, for short, is when students play games to learn content. So we will dive a little bit deeper into the differences between gamification and game-based learning. Linda's holding steady in her lead. Question 4. What is an avatar? In terms of gamification, what is an avatar? All right, icon or figure representing a particular person. So it is not a sauce used in free dishes, not that I am aware of. So Linda's still in the lead. Question 5, what are digital badges? All right, an indicator of an accomplishment or skill. Very good. Ooh, Holly, coming on high. All right, last question. I think it's the last question. What is the first step in gamifying your instruction? What is always the first step when you plan anything for your classroom? All right, identify learning outcomes. Most of you got that one. Holly, still a slight lead. Ah, yes, she won the pre-assessment. So where's Holly? And we will see if Holly can keep the lead at the end when we do the post-assessment. So that took a little bit longer than normal, but it's always fun to get everybody's brains working. It's early. So this is a great quote combined with a great image from that I've seen shared on different places. The image comes from Flickr, but you might have your own children at home that kind of look this way when they're playing games, right? So games are an extraordinary way to tap into your most heroic qualities, and that is a quote from Jane McGonigal, who is a game designer and speaks frequently. She spoke at ISTE a couple years ago, and she's a fabulous resource for gaming, game design, and games and education as well. So what is gamification? Let's get a working definition here. So gamification is the use of gaming principles in the field of education in order to get students involved, engaged, and excited about learning. It introduces concepts like badges, levels, achievements, and game points to the classroom. Okay, and I've embedded other resources that you can come back to later. Here's a gamification guide for teachers. So there's our working definition of gamification. And gamification in education is exactly what it sounds like. We're just taking these gaming elements, these gaming principles, and applying them to the classroom. Things like incentives, immediate feedback, rewards, etc., to the classroom. So game-based learning is a little bit different. That is actually where you are learning through an entire game. Okay, using a Kahoot like we just did is one little gamification piece, but if this was a truly game-based learning course, everything would be gamified. I would not be standing up here and talking about it. You would be doing it through the game. It's learning by doing. Okay, so there is a slight different things. So game-based learning requires way more planning and knowledge of the gaming principles to make that. It's sort of like, the difference between doing projects and doing project-based learning. A little bit different. And I will use any excuse to put friends into my presentation. So why gamification? Because this is the kind of reactions that we had. Does anybody else remember this? Remember the game, the name of the game they were playing? Bamboozle. Yeah, best game ever. So what do games offer? And I actually got this resource just a couple of weeks ago from a great presentation on using gameplay in the classroom. So the 4 freedoms of gameplay from Scott Osterwile, there is a link to a YouTube video of him explaining all of these, but this is how he defines it. You get the freedom to experiment, the freedom to fail, which, is taking, seems to always come up, came up this morning in the panel. The freedom of identity to take on new roles, to take on new tasks, and the freedom of effort. So games offer a lot to our kids. You can use games as an assessment tool, which we just did as a free assessment, but you can also use gameplay as a formative assessment where you see your own failures and successes come to life. How many of you have spent hours on Candy Crush or one of the other, just because you want to get to that next level, and you will sit there and you keep playing and you fail and you fail and you fail until you finally get it. And so our kids do that on all types of video games. So how awesome would it be if they were learning what we wanted them to learn in the classroom through games? It's transparent to the user. There's no question what the learning goal is, right? When you play a game, you know what your goal is, you know where you need to go, and if not, you figure it out, right? So everything is right there for the student, for the user. Real-time analysis with immediate feedback, right? If you're role-playing, oftentimes you die if you don't get it right. And as an educator, on the other side of that, you can see exactly the pre and post assessment measurements, how the kids are doing, how they are improving, so you get great data from games as well. And it provides a context for those interventions and things like that. When you need to pull kids to do small group instruction, RTI, all of those types of things. So game mechanics, let's look at a few of these. This is an infographic with some detailed game mechanics, but usually they involve some sort of point system, like our Kahoot. And oftentimes we use badges, and by the way, you will get a badge today if you want it for attending today's session. I love badges, but teachers love badges too, just by the way. We'll talk more about those later. Levels. So oftentimes you're working through certain levels to get to the next one, the next accomplishment, and the leaderboards like we had in Kahoot. Of course, that was a fast finger game. That was not necessarily who knew the right answer, because we can all accidentally tap the wrong one. So you have to be careful with games like that, that's not for a grade and things like that. But that definitely engages users and helps teach. So the challenges is also another type of game mechanic that you can apply in the classroom. And anyone working on makerspaces or anything like that? Yes, you're very excited, I can tell. Yeah, I love makerspaces, and that challenge was coming to mind. Have you done the cardboard challenge? Or heard of the cardboard challenge? So I'm totally off topic for just a second, but makerspaces are about getting kids making with their hands and building and circuitry and robots and all kinds of stuff, and even as simple as cardboard. And there's something called the cardboard challenge, and so that's where challengers are. And it's about them building with cardboard, and it's amazing. So you don't have to just buy the fancy like 3D printers and expensive stuff. You can do stuff with cardboard. So that is also building in there. So let's talk about avatars. So why you should use avatars, if you haven't noticed, I prefer my avatar over my own picture just about everywhere you go. People have complained when they actually wanted to see what I look like, because I just put my little Judy Jetson-esque avatar everywhere. But I like that. I prefer the animated version of myself. So it also helps protect student identity and your own if you wish it to do so. So avatars are a great way to get kids online doing things, but still protecting who they are. It gives them the options to role play, to take on different characters, and it allows them to promote their own creative skills in creating their own avatars. And of course, we're promoting good digital citizenship skills by using avatars. So here are a few that work on the iPad. And I have played with all of these. All of these little images were me making avatars using the title sort of covered a couple of them, but I'm a Face, Buddy Coke, the Avatar Creator, Cute Avatar Creator, Make a Zombie, which by the way is this one. Just beware, it is kind of bloody, so be careful careful with what age groups you are using these with. And free guitars, which I can't even explain free guitars because I think that one got hidden under here. If you click on any of these, they will take you to the App Store. And I'm also pretty sure these are all still free. But you can see sort of in the screenshots, you can create little monsters. And when you look at like the body parts to put these things together, you can't like, is that a leg, is that an arm? And so it kind of, you know, allows them to just get really creative with creating things. So, creative. The different ones here, the I Made Face app is the one that looks a little like a, what is this from? This reminds me of sort of the comic strip. What's the name of it? Well, it looks like a comic strip, period, but it reminds me of, what's the really old one? Yeah, maybe a little bit. So there are lots of different ones here to play with. These all work on the iPad. It doesn't have to get complicated to use avatars. Avatars are often built into games themselves, but if you're just having kids, you know, posting things online and you can let them create a little avatar, then one, you're protecting their identity, but you can also have them take on a different role. They can create different avatars for different characters in the book that they're reading and things like that. So just a really fun way to use and to gamify your classroom. So let's talk about badges. Yeah, we don't need the badges. Yes, we like the badges. So you can use badges to motivate students to accomplish goals and reach those learning targets. So you can set up and gamify throughout your classroom and create a little badge for each accomplishment or skill. So I'm using badges in professional development right now, and so my teachers just created a website, so they got a web design badge. And their next challenge was to gamify in their classrooms, and they're going to get a gamification badge. And so, and each one of these is going to go into their e-portfolio. So they have a collection of all their accomplishments that has happened through the academy that we're doing. So, of course, you can reward each achievement level, so you could level them if you wanted to. And again, teachers like badges, and I'll tell you this just from my experience. We have a digital fluency academy that we teach at the service center, and it's like, let's make a badge. So they get a graduate badge and they accomplish everything that they're supposed to do. Well, you know, I introduced this at the beginning, like, hey, you're going to get this badge, and everybody's like, what do I care about the badge? Let me tell you, by the end of it, they're all like, I don't have my badge. Where's my badge? I need my badge. They want to put that badge in their email signature. They want to put the badge on their website. They want to put it everywhere. Teachers like the accomplishment as well. So just saying, if you work in professional development, it is not just for little kids. So here are some resources for badges. I have used Credly the most. And the one that I created for you today, I'm distributing through Credly. Credly will let you create inside there. There's a creator. And it's very, very easy to use. Credly is for 13 and above. Okay, so I did double check that. However, that's if you're distributing through the system. So if you're teaching younger than 13, you could also just create the badge and go save it as an image somewhere and give that image to the kids. The part of the distribution where kids have to create an account to claim it is the part that where you get into trouble with the 13 and over.
I just want to say about badges that I personally think my husband married me so I could sew badges on scout uniforms, because those circle badges are a pain. What's nice about this is not there's so many badges here, so many where you're not sewing, but you're giving something in the hand as well as like a digital one to teachers.
Right, right. Well, and you know, badges are obviously nothing new, right? I mean,
Yeah.
The scouting system has used them forever. So I also want to be sure and point out that gamification does not have to happen with technology. We're talking about gamifying the iPad because we're here for an iPad conference. But I want you to be aware of gaming happens in all sorts, you know, we all have played a board game, I hope, at some point in our And so even with the badges, I know that teachers who don't have a one-to-one situation where giving digital badges is something that works for them, they're printing them out and the kids put them on their notebooks. So they're still, or they go on a wall in the classroom and they can show off as their accomplishments. So there are ways to use these gaming principles without the technology as well. So I do like Credly. It's really easy. For All Badges is another one that allows you to create and distribute, and there's an app for that as well. Edmodo. So I know there are quite a few Edmodo users. Many of you use the badges inside it. A few. So if you weren't aware of that, Edmodo has that built in already. So you can use that as well. Class Badges is not an app. It is technically web-based, but that one is what that is designed to do, to use with your kiddos in the classroom. Open Badges is a Mozilla platform, and so it allows you sort of like a portable set of badges that you can take from platform to platform. So certain platforms, like For All Badges, works with the Open Badges platform. The Mozilla piece of that, Open Badges, is another 13 and over situation. But like I said, we're talking about an image. Kids can save an image, you can save an image and put it somewhere else. So it's the distribution piece of it. If it requires an account is when we're going to get into the child protection laws. And then there's also a teacher's guide to badges in education. But if you click on this image and actually the slide before on, go back. Sorry, I should have just skipped there. This one, if you click on this image, you can go to the full blog post to read specifics about each one of these. I've got so much content in here. I did want to spend a lot of time just talking about apps that you guys can go and explore later. So check those out. And check out the full post on the badges as well. So lots of different genres of games that we have at our disposal to work with. And a lot of them are those drill and practice games. Those are not my favorite. Research tells us that does not give us a lot of retention, but that is still a type of game. Puzzle games, role-playing games, strategy games, action-adventure, full-blown simulations, and sort of the sandbox experimental types of games. Then there are also things that are just interactive learning tools, and those are not necessarily games. So I just want to make sure that we're not confusing just because something is interactive that it's actually a game. So a game needs to have those gaming principles where they're working through levels, where they're working to get achievements. Just because that little screenshot up there of a Brain Pop interactive, they have lots of interactives. They have games as well. But just because it's all on Brain Pop does not mean it's a game. So we want to make sure that when we're using the game to enhance what we're doing in the classroom, to use it in a good method to improve learning in the classroom. We want to know the difference between games and interactive learning tools. So let's talk about a few specific apps for gamification. And I'm sticking mostly to the gamification level and not full-blown game-based learning, because game-based learning is just much more involved and probably would take us all day to get through that. So quiz games, which we have already seen a great example of Kahoot. It's web-based, super easy to use. I love the fact that it will work on any device, given that you have a good Wi-Fi connection. But that is usually the only thing that hangs us up. Zondle is another great app, and by the way, you can click on any of these to go to the App Store. Is another app that will actually let you create your own games and let kids create their own games, and it has badges built into the system. Socratic, anybody using that one? So, and I think this one's sort of loosely quiz gaming, but there is a separate teacher app and student app for Socratic. And Infuse Learning can actually be really fun. Anybody using Infuse? Anybody want to share how they use Infuse?
I just, that's not my favorite. It does not work on
Internet Explorer, and it's very finicky.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have to use Internet Explorer?
No, we don't, but that's the default for most of my teachers, is to use that browser. And I'm a Chrome fan, I'm not gonna sit here and defend it.
Right.
But it's just, even when you do a different browser, it's not always very dependable.
Well, I've heard similar conversations, and I've heard people that love it. So it is just another option. Of course, it's web-based, because I know, especially if you've got shared iPads or trying to get kids to download things, that sometimes having those web-based resources is really helpful as well. Tiny Task is great for the little ones, and it is an app in the App Store for games.
You have a good sandbox app that, like my district uses Puffin. Like, is there one that you like, if you're wanting to use like a web-based
To Flash.
to the Flash? Is that a good one, or is there?
I've used Puffin, and it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
I think the people who are not changing their names from Flash to other platforms are eventually going to get left behind.
That's right.
Because they're really not developing anything to make a Band-Aid for that anymore, because Flash is not supported by Adobe. And, it's dead. It should be dead. Unfortunately, we still have great content that we want to use, but I don't. Does anyone else have a great app that will play Flash on the iPad? Puffin and Rover are about the only two. I would not give it a.
That's gonna fall away.
I don't catch up. Well, I thought it was going to fall away last year, but it's still, like, there's still people hanging on to Flash, and I think they're just going to get left behind if they don't change, because it's just not supported. So, not an easy answer for that one. Do I have any Minecraft users? Do you actually play yourselves?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, because I have not been able to get into it. I'm not, but I've seen kids. And if you have never seen kids play Minecraft, it is something to behold. And I have a little video, this little Minecraft trailer. So if there's anyone in here who is not familiar, it's okay. This is a safe space to admit that you don't know some of these things. But the trailer gives you a great little overview of why this is so awesome for kids. And I've heard people sort of explain it. It's like virtual Legos, and they just get to build. But so let's watch this and give you a better idea of what
Avatar calling too.
Yes. So I have no sound.
Let's go to a place where everything is made of blocks, where the only limit is your imagination. Let's go wherever you want to go. Climb the tallest mountains. Venture down to the darkest caves. Build anything you want. Day or night, rain or shine. Because this is the most significant sandbox you'll ever set foot in. Build a majestic castle, invent a new machine, or take a ride on a roller coaster. Play with friends. Build your own little community. Protect yourself with the strongest armor that you can craft, and fight off the dangers of the night. No one can tell you what you can or cannot do, with no rules to follow. This adventure, it's up to you.
Okay, so we could have made this entire session about using Minecraft in the classroom. Are any of you actually using it with your students? You want to share how you're using it?
One of the things we have done was kids were reading a novel, and they actually started designing settings for different parts of the novel in Minecraft. We also did a thing on parts of speech, so they were doing things like adjectives, and they would grab like 3 adjectives randomly and then design structures that reflected those adjectives.
I like that. That's very abstract. That's very cool. So, anybody else want to share?
We just created a Minecraft club to get the kids involved, and you have those geeky kids that didn't have a place or a home in high school, and we created a Minecraft club, and it was the most popular place kids wanted to come, like during lunch, after school, before school. So it was just kind of fun just to get those kids interacting and learning together. It gives them an outlet, but it was not just the geeky kids, but it became everybody.
What grade level?
This was in high school.
Okay. Isn't it amazing, especially at the high school when you can see kids that want to kind of do something, so into what they're creating. I love that. So, Minecraft, and it is not free for the iPad. It's, I believe, still $6.99, but well worth the investment. The ability to create in this game has blown me away. The first time I saw Minecraft presented was by students, and they were like third graders. These two sisters presented, and they had taken a Bear Bears book, regular old paper book, where the treehouse was detailed, and they built the treehouse in Minecraft. And so the thought process of how to take something that had no dimension to it and building it where you could walk through it in Minecraft, and they gave us like a whole tour of everything in the treehouse. And I was just blown away. And the first thing they told us was, well, we started out this one way and it wasn't working, so we had to tear it all down and start over. Failing forward, right? They were in there and they were learning from their processes, and I mean it gives me chills just thinking about it, because those are the skills that they need. They need to learn how to build and create things and learn that it's okay if they don't have the right answer the first time. So taking those risks and giving them opportunities to do things in these new environments is so important. The other piece of that is that there's sort of two sides, and those of you who play help me explain, but there's sort of like the sandbox where you get to build, and then there's the part that is sort of like the competition, right? To me.
There's too much. Those kids want to be in the sandbox.
Those kids want to be in the sandbox. But of course, recreating things that you're learning in the classroom. So they could be bringing a novel to life. They could be bringing historical places to life. They could be building, the Colosseum in Rome or anything else. So there's in the trailer said the possibilities are truly endless. They can be inventive. They can create their own communities and their own little worlds.
And then next book, my son goes on it, and they have their own, he has his own community, but they record what they do in Minecraft and put it on YouTube, and other kids come and watch it. He says, Mum, I've got followers. We're in there right now with another friends, all together, and they have this whole battle world going, and then other kids come and watch them, and they comment, so I'm like, yeah, and he's like, oh, you won't understand. And I sit there and I'm like, he's like, we're in this battle right now, and we're building this empire, and these people, and I'm not going to get it. They're just in this whole world.
Yeah, I would say the social aspect of it has been just as impressive to me. It's just the creative building process of it. My daughter gets online with her friends, and they'll just invent games on the fly. Like, this is what our objectives are going to be. These are the limitations. This is how we're going to decide who wins. Now let's go do this.
That's exactly right. They build games for each other.
Yes.
Yeah,
Make their
it's
own
really
rules.
cool.
And they learn a lot about code because they're adding modifications and things on. And the thing you do have to be careful with is games can be addictive, and that's why we want them to be addictive for learning, not for isolating in your room.
Right.
But I think the exciting part is when they see this coming into the classroom, because then they're like, this is the way I want to learn.
And by the way, and I don't know if I have any tech directors or anyone in here, but aside from the iPad, there is also a way to set up your own Minecraft server for your school district. I know some districts that are doing that, so that you can actually have that running so that you're not bogging down your own system, connecting online and things like that. And the other piece that I don't want to forget is how important it is to keep in mind that these things also carry outside of the technology. Minecraft is everywhere, right? If you're on Pinterest or anywhere, like, it cracks me up. Well, Minecraft Minecraft parties. I see all the Halloween costumes. Everybody, all the kids want to Minecraft everything, all the things. So I found this last week, and this is a printable block generator. So you can print the little Minecraft, and there's all different kinds. I just took a snapshot of one. And they look just like Minecraft, but they can physically build with the blocks. So that's one way. If you can't get every kid on Minecraft in the classroom, one way you can kind of Minecraft some things into your classroom. The other thing is, and there are lots of these. This is just one example, but there are lots of apps that let you Minecraft your pictures. So that, and again, it can be a way to protect student identity. If they're posting pictures online, they can have, have a little Minecraft head or something on top of it. So the kids love this stuff. This one's called CamFX, but I'm sure if you search, because when I searched, there were a ton. The free one that I used to use went away, so I'm hoping another good free one will come out of that as well, since apps come out all the time. And so you might have noticed also my titles and my slides have all kind of had a gamey Minecraft kind of look. This is from a website called textcraft.net, and it lets you generate titles and images so you can gamify your whole classroom. You can print out signs and banners and post them or use them in your presentations, wherever you want to put them on your website. And a special thank you to Jake Duncan, who I learned from at TCEA last year. So moving on past the Minecraft world, onto some other types of games. Have any of you ever played Space Team? One. All right. So Space Team, and this is quoting directly from the App Store, is called a cooperative shouting game. Okay. So embrace the chaos, embrace the noise. It's for teens of 2 to 4, and that's a little screenshot. Now, what I love is, one, you can play different types of devices. So if you've got an Android, I've got an iPad, whatever, we can play together. And this is my challenge to you. If you have some time at lunch with your little group, download Space Team and try to play it, because it is super fun. It is a shouting game, and with fun included. So if you'll notice what it says at the top of that screenshot, it says soak the Ferris Hollow Spectrum. Okay, they're like made up little tools and things on here. So if that's what my screen said, I can click the soak button because I have that command. But a lot of times it'll say like something random like, turn the phalange. Well, I don't have the phalange. You've got the phalange, so I have to yell. And so you can see like the spaceship's coming and you're about to be attacked, and so you have to do all these things before you die. And so you have to cooperate with your team. I don't have it, do you have it? And so they work, and so teams of 2 to 4 can play it. I'm telling you, it is really, really fun. And that's a great skill. Kids need to know how to be able to do that and learn how to have fun along the way. So Space Team is awesome.
What do you call that skill? Being able to accept forward or being able to take risks if you're willing to jump out there and try?
Yeah, well, I mean, this would be learning, cooperative skills and collaboration skills, team skills. But yeah, that was the other thing too. With any of these things, and just doing anything online, and I'm sure most of you have noticed, the kids that are quiet, that don't want to raise their hand, that don't want to do things in the classroom, will oftentimes surprise you because they will do things online, or they will be the one getting into Minecraft that you had no idea they had it in them. And so I love the fact that using all these different genres and all these different tools will bring out the best in our kids. So yeah, this is Space Team, and it may not be for everybody, and I guarantee you it'll be like your kids are going to be like, when do we get to play Space Team again? I love it when they don't let you forget, because they had so much fun. So Quandary, and this one is really a neat role-playing game. So it is a free app, and it's a science fiction game where I believe you take on the role of the captain in a new community. Does anybody play Quandary, by the way? Okay. And so along the way, you go through and you have to solve problems. You have to take care of other people. You have to, how to get food, how to do all of these things. So it teaches critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, all of those things. So Quandary is very nice, and you can see it's kind of got a comic strip feel to it. up if any of you are using any of these with kids because I would love to get the examples. Anybody use Classcraft? So Classcraft is, and I put this quote on here, is Class Dojo meets World of Warcraft. And so that sort of combining those two worlds. And it will allow kids to take on these types of avatars you see in the picture up there and dramatically increase the student motivation. Teachers' collaboration helps make learning fun. I did have a teacher in another session speak up about using this. He said it's really cool. He's like, because if they're off task, then they lose one of their swords or something. So it's very motivating to the kids in terms of how their avatars work and things like that. But I think it goes beyond behavior as well. Teamwork and collaboration is built into it. It is free and it just became an iOS app. It was just web-based, but I think in October the app officially came out. Wisen World. Any Wisen World users? So Wisen World is web-based math games for 3rd through 8th grade. So this is really the only one that's very, very specific to a subject area and grade level. But I have a little video in here to help wrap your head around what this does and how cool the graphics are in Wisen World. Adventure game, role playing, they have to solve math problems along the way. So it's got a few different things built into that. So I really like that instead of just the drill types of games for solving math problems. So I'm going to very carefully talk about Class Dojo. If anybody has watched the news lately. I definitely agree with a lot of the original uses of Class Dojo is behavior management. However, that's what is being questioned right now by so many people. And the way I'm talking about it is not using it for behavior management, because if you didn't know, Class Dojo can actually be customized, so you can give points for different things. It doesn't have to be a behavior or bad behavior reinforcement type of thing. So that's why I have this little example down here. So I might give little Timmy a +1 for creativity. So you can use this sort of as your leaderboard in terms of giving kids credit for reaching different levels. So this could be a positive reinforcement and not a negative reinforcement, which is what people are really against in terms of using Class Dojo. But, and let me tell you, Class Dojo seems very elementary, but I know it is being used at higher levels, and the kids love creating their avatars, and they get to create their little dojo, and parents can see this, and so there's a lot of really cool things about using Class Dojo, but I'm sort of presenting it as a way of using for your leaderboard in terms of collecting what kids have reached certain levels and giving them credits through Dojo, especially with the under 13 rule on some of those apps. So there is, of course, an official app for that, so you can click on that link. Also a link down here to a great blog post that someone did on using Google Forms to do a leaderboard. So if you're sort of interested in maybe exploring that as a way of gamifying and using the leaderboard in your classroom, you can also use Google forms and spreadsheets to do that. So this is one called 3D Game Lab, and this is a way bigger, more robust type of gaming system. And so it will basically turn your class into a game, and you set up quests for your students to accomplish their skills. So you're setting up sort of a blended environment, you're giving them the tasks, and you can award badges within the system there, so you can kind of see what it looks like right there. It is, I believe, still just a web app at this point and not an official iOS app, but it will work on the iPad. So let's talk about some different ways that we can use games in the classroom. So we never, one, want to use technology for technology's sake, and the same thing goes, we don't want to play games just for playing games' sake, right? It's not a, oh, well, you finished early, go play Candy Crush or whatever. Let's make it meaningful. Let's tie it to learning goals. So definitely it's a preparation for future learning. If you haven't noticed, gamification is huge right now. And not just in education. It is spreading to the business world. They are creating these types of quests and games in terms of professional development for all types of professionals, not just in education. It is definitely a great assessment tool. As the student, being able to see that immediate feedback and know what the learning goals are ahead of time. It's transparent. And it's transparent to the teacher. The teacher can monitor where they are and again know when to intervene. The students have to demonstrate their mastery. So, depending on what you teach and how you can design this, you're going to give your students some opportunity, one, to own their own learning, right? Take ownership of what they're doing and what they're creating. And you need to always remember to build in time for review and reflection. That is not only for yourself, but for your students. So what's working, what's not working in terms of the lesson design, but also giving kids time to talk about what they learned and to realize that they actually did learn something through the game, right? Extended learning time outside of school as well, like the Minecraft club and things like that. We can definitely use games to extend it outside of the classroom. So, for gamification mistakes that you should avoid, yes, I told you I like to use friends, so I get the bad sprays. So one, too many rewards. So that's if you're a parent, you probably know that anyway, right? If you give them too many treats, it's not going to work out so well. So you have to make it meaningful. Your game does not fulfill the learning objectives. Again, that question in the Kahoot, what do you start with? You start with the learning goals, the learning objectives, whichever way you want to call it. But you want to make sure that your game has a purpose and is tied clearly to your learning goals. The game focuses only on competition. So if the only thing you're doing is Kahoot in a fast finger game, that's not fair to the kids. It's fun for a while, but eventually there's going to be some kids who just don't do those types of things as quickly, and they're going to feel left out. So game mechanics are faulty. So if you are rewarding the wrong things, the wrong levels, if you haven't clearly defined where those are, so that kids understand when they can achieve different levels, you want to make sure that all of your game mechanics make sense. And this came from a full article on the e-learning industry about gamification mistakes. So finding your own games and lessons, and I was blown away. I just got some of these resources a couple weeks ago. So have you seen Educate? Anybody ever seen Educate?
Scribble my story.
Yes.
What just said that?
That was mine.
Okay, I was like, what happened? So Educate is really a great website. You can filter here. So you search for lessons and teaching tools. So you can search by subject area. So if I wanted to go math, geometry, I can choose a grade level, or grade levels. You have a little slider here. And your tool types, so if you're looking for games, there's a whole game section. And your platform. So if you want to make sure, that it is iPad friendly, you click on iPad. And so this will help you, and I was going to say, I hope something loads. So this will help you find things to teach what you need to teach and to find meaningful games and other resources. This is just a great website. So lesson plans, teaching tools, all kinds of things that come up in this. And so this is called educate.org. And that one is quickly becoming a favorite of mine. The other one, which I absolutely love, is Graphite. Well, I just opened the same one. Maybe did I mess up the link? I did. My link is wrong. Let me fix that. So graphite.org is what this one should go to. But you can type it in or wait until I fix it and refresh. But graphite.org is by the Common Sense Media people. So if you've ever been to any of the Common Sense Media, which is amazing. Graphite came out not this past summer, but the summer before. And what I love about it is they are basically building a huge database of apps and tools that are used by teachers. They're reviewed by teachers, they share lesson plans, and I need to put the www, okay, we went there. So, same idea here, if you go to reviews and ratings, and I'm moving kind of slow now too. So here you can filter. So if I just want apps for ELA 6 through 8, and I want to make sure they're all free, I can apply all those little filters here, and then I get all of these reviews. So they give it a learning rating, and they give it a teaching rating. And then as you scroll through, you'll also see different ideas from teachers, not yet rated. There are tons of apps and things that you can see. This is pages and pages of apps. The other thing I want to point out is, and it's kind of hidden, where is it? It's something called app flows. Have y'all seen app flows?
I'm sorry.
Stretching. So app flows. Oh, and by the way, sign up for an account with Graphite. One, because they're still building their database, they have periodically give you like Amazon gift cards if you'll go leave a review for something. I did that and got like a couple of $10 gift cards. So sign up, and the newsletters that they send out are awesome. They do webinars, so you'll get, like they do happy hours, so you can watch it online and learn about new apps and things like that as well. Oh, here's the app flows, it's right there. So the app flow gives you a full lesson from the hook, direct instruction, guided practice, independent practice, and the wrap up. So it might have several apps included, so sort of how to fit all of those in there. But love this website. So come back to Graphite. Playful learning. Hopefully I did this okay. Playful learning is another place to come look for lessons in terms of gamifying and finding some other things that kids are doing, so you can explore by subject area. And lessons, and join their mailing list. I haven't done that yet. This is a new one for me, so I'm still learning about playful learning, but it looks like a great resource. BrainPop, do I have any that are already using BrainPop? So if you didn't know, there are lots of free things from BrainPop. You don't have to have the BrainPop subscription to get everything. So you can get a lot of those games for free. And then games and learning. is a research and up-to-date analysis of using games and learning. So there's lots of different research reports here. This, by the way, I have linked somewhere else, but it's excellent, the Mind Shift Guide to Games and Learning. So lots of good resources on gamification right there. Questions? Other resources you'd like to share?
I just want to say, I heard that like with some of the games, video games that our children play, it's just for fun, we talked about like Xbox, that the designers actually design it so that it won't save. And it actually creates a situation where they get anxious because they're going to lose everything if they don't stay in it. It's programmed.
That's pretty terrible.
Yeah. So it's like really, really hard to get them off. And so I think maybe with the digital citizenship idea, it's just like you're saying, everything's balanced, have a purpose, reflect. You have to kind of also talk about how, what purpose games play. I mean, adults are probably playing these games to break their brain, to give them, they serve a great purpose, but I think sometimes you have to talk about, it's okay to walk away and lose a badge. It's okay to, being able to tell yourself you can walk away and lose, because you can always come back. Do you have anything about that?
Well, no, I think that's pretty terrible. They're not letting them save the names, but.
Well, that can work to a certain level. It doesn't automatically save, so they can just resume. It kind of promotes a.
Right, they
When
want to
you
get
stay
they want to get them hooked.
24 hours until,
Right. But, I totally agree, though. In terms of just using games, we want to make sure we have a clear purpose in what we're doing and that we are being reflective about what they're learning. And you know what? If you tried something, and even though someone said it was a great way to gamify and it might be something I shared today, it didn't work for you, it didn't work for you. You try it, you abandon it. If it did not reach the learning goals, if it does not enhance your classroom in some way, don't do it again. That's what I always tell teachers in terms of planning. You don't start with the technology. You start with your learning goals. You start with your content, and then you decide what is the right tool for the job. And you might not pick the right tool the first time. And that's okay for you. That's taking a risk. But at the same time, when you realize that, you move on. You find and that's how you learn, and that's how you increase what's in your own digital toolbox. So keeping everything aligned to what your purpose is in your classroom, what your learning goals are. Any other questions before we take our post-assessment? Who's gonna win? Nobody's calling it? I've got an iPad Air case here to give away. Ooh, all right. So get ready. Let me see which tab it is that I have over. So, Holly, you gonna win this one? Where's Holly? Oh, right here. You almost won. Holly won. That's right. Okay. We will have more questions this time. Better turn this down. Y'all must be getting kicked out. Is that what's happening? Because I'm seeing the same ones. Okay, sorry. 8 questions this time. What is gamification? And they will be randomized, so they will not be in the same place. All right, using game mechanics to solve problems and engage users. Here's AMC taking the lead early. All right, in the back. Moving on. What is gamification of education? Those came in so much faster. We got somebody hanging on.
It's me, mine didn't reload, so I can't actually.
All right, applying game mechanics to classroom instruction. Yay, everybody got that one. Lindsay, taking the lead. What is game-based learning? Did everybody answer? I think we got stragglers. So GBL is when students play games to learn content. Very good. Lindsay's still in the lead. Is that you? That's What is an avatar? Icon or figure or something, a particular person. Almost everybody, somebody did say a very popular movie. Lindsay's still in the lead. Question 5, what are digital badges? All right, an indicator of accomplishment or skill. Very good. We got that one right. Lindsay's still in the lead. So what is the first step in gamifying your instruction? Look how fast that one came in. Yay! Identify the learning outcomes. Ooh. What happened to Lindsay? I do that too. I get really happy. I get really into competition. So who's Jacob? All right, in the back, taking the lead. Question 7, which is not an example of an avatar creator. Let's see which one do you remember. Yay! Friendly juice to make.
Badges.
Oh, let's see what that did. Oh, Jacob's still in the lead. It is. It was I threw a little curveball at you. So what is one gamification mistake to avoid? Besides the spray tan. Or, and let me just tell you, you have to set up a Credly account to claim it that way. You don't want to mess with that. You can click right there and just save the image. So I shared the image in Google, I think is how it is. And that's a picture of it. So you'll get a little participant badge for today's session. Anybody else still need it? Okay. I have a couple more resources here at the end just to give you in terms of more on gamification. I'm not doing it on time. We're just finished at 2:45, like right now. Sorry. Okay, I can put this back up too in a second. So, just real quick, there's that Mindshift guide, Games and Learning. I have tons of bookmarks on Digo. They're all public. You don't have to log in to see them for gamification. And I have a gamification Pinterest board, so every time I find something new, I add it to that Pinterest board. And then Jake Duncan, who I mentioned earlier, that's his TCEA presentation on gamification, which is fabulous. And then Game Over. So, and there's the presentation again if anybody needs it, or if you need me to go back to the badge real quick.